because it's just jarring. It's just been a jarring end, and I think I'm sitting here still like I almost am anxious to just go
Yeah.
rewatch it again and
Yeah. And
ask.
I'll agree here too. And a lot of, we've been saying 8 episodes a season might be the thing, but man, I gotta say, after I really think as we push forward, especially because we're really only through one book,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere something's getting cut like significantly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I almost feel like I almost feel like going forward, we do almost need 10 episodes a season. I think 10 episodes would serve a lot of purposes. One, as we get further and further into the books, stuff's gonna start getting axed, and we're gonna need to sort of start preserving stuff and shifting stuff around and making that all work. But the other thing is, especially as we talked about it this episode with Perrin a little bit,
mm-hmm.
giving enough time for characters' stories to kind of develop and stuff like that, especially as we get even further spread away from each other, is going to be important. And I really feel like 10 episodes would
Yeah.
would really assist that.
What Game of Thrones was 8, wasn't it?
No, Game of
They were
Thrones.
always 10.
Game of Thrones
And
was
then the
10,
last
and
two,
the last
the
2 were
last two
shorter.
seasons, yeah.
Okay. I mean, if Game of Thrones can get 10, like this was the number. Again, I know Matt talked about some of the competition early on that it's facing, but I feel like the budget's got to go up. I mean, I feel like they've got to
Oh,
get a 10.
it will. I mean, ratings wise, this show is doing well. So
Yeah.
they've already greenlit it through season 3. I mean, Amazon again. Remember this is that Amazon as sort of as like Amazon Prime and studios and stuff like that. They're really behind the curve compared to like Netflix and Disney and
Yeah.
HBO, Time Warner Media. In that they're still really new to this, because even though even though it's like, well, you just make a TV show, you just go hire people, you do whatever you got to do, any of that stuff, like Disney's been making movies for a long time. Warner Brothers has been making movies and television for a long time. Like Amazon's still kind of new to this. Like they really have only had like 4 or 5 like bigger hit shows. They did just buy a movie studio in MGM, so they're going to be getting a lot more talented people. Not that MGM is the greatest movie asset studio to own, but you're going to be bringing in more talented people. So it's good. I think it'll get better. I do think and not that I really thought season 1 was bad or anything, but I do think going forward, production and all this stuff is gonna scale up.
Yeah. Let's talk about one thing too, just things that need improved or whatever. I want to talk about one character before I pop out of here. Lan. Ryan, what did you think about? I mean, was that like thoughts on Lan this episode? And I'm not being funny about that.
No. Yeah.
Because there was a good moment in the beginning, right? It's really good stuff between him and Nynaeve.
Really enjoyed the actor portraying him. Did a great job. They cast him perfectly.
Yeah.
I loved his character arc throughout the season. I was really happy with what they decided to do with the plot dynamic with him and Nynaeve, where instead of pushing it all the way to the end, they started filtering it in a little bit more, and then you get almost that blessing from Moraine, and I think it was last week's episode when she says, I really like her, the wisdom.
Right.
Like I'm wondering in her mind, is she saying, yeah, I'm going to the Eye to die. I'm going to not break my, but I'm going to shield my bond with him. So when I'm gone, I'm giving him permission. He can go to her.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just in my head, if that's how it went in the books, if that's what they're going to do with the show, but that's just kind of how I'm seeing it. I was a little disappointed in my head after last week. I really thought Lan was going to have a big part to play in what goes on in the Blight / the Eye of the World, and he gets there just at the end. So and with all the action and all the things happening in this episode, they really didn't do anything for his character. He literally just leaves and then shows up at the end, and he's so clutch throughout this whole season. I feel like that was a missed opportunity that they could have really raised raised him up into an even more, just a BA. Just he
Right.
goes out there and he does something massive.
Right, because the Dark One kind of mocked Rand when he saw the heron marked blade, and we got a great comment here from Andrew just saying that the land naive stuff um, is great,
Mm-hmm.
but his action, the blade stuff, the blade master bit needs to go up.
Definitely,
right? We need
100%.
more. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'd actually really love to see. I'd really actually love for people who really didn't like this season. What would you do in season 2 differently? Because I'd really like to see what some, because I know what I would do, but I'm already kind of like it. book looks gonna be book looks, but I mean, I guess what would you do in season 2? What would your season 2 look like, in order to sort of improve it from where you think we're potentially at,
Where we're lacking in this season? That'd be an interesting
right?
question to see what people say. And I'm sure you guys will get lots of emails on it and be able to bring it into the podcast. So anyone watching live now, you gotta start listening to the podcast so you can follow along with those.
There we go. Ryan with
Here we
plug.
go. Rand hasn't been trained. Please train him in the sword. Yes, definitely will need that in season 2.
Well, and they're saying though that he's gone, right? He's
gone.
He has to come back.
He does that in is it book 3 where he says, or no,
it's
is
a little
it
bit.
2?
It's a little bit of book 2.
Yeah, he says I have to leave because I don't want to take them down when I go mad, and I don't know how long that lasts. Doesn't seem like it lasts that long before he ends up back together with some of them.
Right. Well, because then the horn and everything gets stolen.
He catches the horn and
have to go.
They catch up with him. I think that's how the book goes. But yeah, and I don't think they're going to do that too much in this. That's a good question. Where are they going to take Matt now at the beginning of next season? Because he doesn't know that the horn's been stolen. What's in his mind? What's his mission?
Are the Reds going to do something with him? Since that was the hint in the last episode. The Dark One, right? If you want to call him that, or Balzman Ashamael, does notice the heron marked blade. Where'd you get that?
Yep.
So that was there.
Yeah, I think there's more healing that needs to be done, right? Like from the White Tower, or some darkness is still there. Hopefully, I mean, Moraine though did say for the Red Aja to go pick him up. I feel like he's gonna avoid them. I feel like he's gonna avoid them, and from there, who knows?
Yeah.
So,
is there any way you just do the Great Hunt next season?
Just the Great Hunt?
Yeah.
Could you get more than 3 episodes out of it? I mean, after we see how quick they move through these episodes, I mean, maybe 4,
I mean, season one was 1 book. I mean, do you just make season 2 the Great Hunt?
I feel like
it'd slow way down. Like it'd slow way down if you did that.
You would have lots of time for information dumps and to really dig into history and all that, maybe do flashbacks and things, but I can't see that. I think they're gonna blend 2 and 3, like you guys have been saying all along, and and even people in the comments all season have been saying.
Yeah, because if you were gonna do just the Great Hunt, as Matt is suggesting, you've got to get
an idea. Just
as an idea. Kyrian, you could do a bit more there at the game of houses, kind of, or whatever. Matt goes to Camelin and figures out stuff's not, going well there. I think
we do need to pull in Elaine and the Queen and all that.
Yeah.
So maybe we get a lot of book 2 and maybe not so much of book 3 if they're going to blend.
Well, because just thinking about what they did with season 1, and I guess if you want season 1 to just be sort of the eye of the world, that's fine. But a lot of the character development and power scaling, I would say, again, I've said this before, is way further along. So if season 2 is just sort of the Great Hunt's plot, but you're pulling forward character development and plot and stuff like that, then how would it look? Because again, even my idea of blending 2 and 3, it still ends for me with really the ending of book 2, which is the Horn of Valir has to sound, and I think that's 100% happening now, especially since Padan Fain took it. Like, it's definitely going to end with us getting the horn and then using it, right?
Oh yeah.
And so Kalendor may actually not even be involved, which I've been kind of thinking. I've kind of thought you take that and have the ending of 2 and 3, because it's kind of the same thing happens. Is like everyone's on the outside doing stuff. Rand's like one-on-one with somebody at the end of really both 2 and 3.
Yep.
And just in 3 it's Kalendor. So I've kind of really thought they're kind of like the same.
Right.
In terms of just the way the scenes are structured. And I think for TV, it's easy to sort of just blend those into one thing.
And think about this in the Great Hunt. Remember, Moraine goes away essentially. She's not even necessarily in the book at all. So they've set us up for that. Like now, Varen could step in. I think they might actually do that and bring Varen in and make her kind of feeling. But then it's like you didn't see her woven into that circle with Suan. Maybe Suan says Moraine is gone, and I need you in on some of this because it's just weird. But she's gone for like a whole book and then comes back. I mean, at the end, she's there. Don't get me wrong, but not much is going on with Moraine. So
yeah.
Wayne,
I need a lot of people are saying this is where I'm at too, is you spend a lot of time at the tower with the girls and you can lore dump a lot of stuff, which then once you've done it, you don't necessarily have to go back to it. And then it's all sort of explained, which I do think is one of the issues a little bit with season 1, was like some stuff's happening and you're like, this isn't explained.
Yeah. So, okay, Matt, I have people going from like, we could slow it down like that, do some lore dumping, to then while that's happening, Stephanie's proposing, what if Rand brings the Aiel to fight the invaders? Like full on, we go from slower down on this half of the continent to ramp it up to like stuff way later in the book and just bring them on in and let's go crazy. Because that's the Shan-Chen and like the Aiel have their wise ones and
I like that idea, because I'm trying to think in Rand's mind, what's his next step from where we see him end this episode. He's understands now that he is Aiel.
Yeah.
That might be in his mind. I'm going to go to my homeland and find out what that's about.
What if, what if we're really like, again, what if we start pulling stuff from like books 6 and 8 and 10? I mean, and it's just like,
they're just rewriting the timeline.
I mean, just think about the whole deal. Is they've said we're adapting this whole thing, and they're just like, it doesn't necessarily, because I am okay with the idea that it doesn't necessarily have to go in order, as long as like the heart is there and the story is there and stuff like that. Like so far, I feel like they've mostly gotten the characters down, with kind of the exception of Matt. I feel like Matt is definitely a little different than he is in the books. But like Nynaeve feels like Nynaeve, Lan feels like Lan. I need more Rand for Rand to sort of feel like Rand.
Yeah.
But I feel like we can get that. So yeah, I mean, what if next season we just bring in the Aiel? Yeah, and then
I'd love it.
He goes and fights Cooladin, maybe.
Yeah, that could be a whole arc. I mean, they see while that's going on, it could be like a Daenerys situation, right? Which is this whole arc goes on in season 2 that's Rand, separate from everyone else doing their thing. So yeah, that'd be cool if they separated the arcs like that. But
it's interesting. Yeah, so definitely a lot of definitely a lot of comments here. Like they have to track down Fane and the Horn. You notice Fane has the ruby dagger, right? This is how you bring Matt back to track the dagger, because he's sort of bound to it. Let me see here. Will Rand get to Falma or Tyr with Lucas Circus? Oh God, thinking of men's viewing.
Oh my God, that's wild. Bring the circus chapters up. Let's go. Yeah, we're gonna push forward in that direction. Matt's out.
I am 100% out on circus chapters. 100%.
Yeah.
So one of my bigger questions when we think about these future seasons or episodes for Matt is, which season are we going to get to see him? When are we going to let our Matt get to see the show Matt finally get his kill shot on screen? Is that coming
Exactly.
next season?
Is
Is it
it
gonna be
on?
season
Is it
3?
gonna fight? Cool it in. What's the deal?
Yeah, when's it happening? I think they will do. Like that's the kind of stuff where we've said they can expand. The show can do a better job. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, I think Ez has to roll out because it's like 3:30 in the morning over there.
Hey, I hung in for an extra half hour. I'm about to burn out. You know what I mean?
That's okay. Ryan and I are here. We're gonna man. We will man the ship for a bit.
Yeah.
For a bit more here.
Ryan, good thoughts. Thanks, guys. Matt, I'll be back. And may the light be with you. All right.